tagging me in so many recipes that you want me to try. Some of them look amazing and some look kind of questionable. So today I'm testing them all so you don't have to. Let's hope it goes well. But our first one looks very promising. And this isn't quite a recipe, but you guys know me so well because you know I love matcha and I love leve. And that banana cream pudding matcha looks insane. So let's start off with the banana pudding. It looks like it's really creamy like an actual banana pudding. So let's make that first. Okay, into a bowl, I'm gonna add some heavy whipping cream. And then to give it that pudding consistency, we're gonna make actual pudding. A little bit of vanilla extract, and let's whip it up. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. The pudding mix is gonna thicken it up some more. So I'm gonna stop there. But somebody said, yo, Leve is doing food reviews now. And she did a really good job describing everything in there because she mentioned that there's actual banana pieces in the pudding. So I'm gonna cut up a banana. I'm using a pretty ripe one, not super ripe. And this should be sweet enough. I'm gonna add the bananas to the pudding. So classic banana pudding has Nilla wafers in there. And she didn't mention whether it has any, so I'm not gonna add any yet. But let's mix this up. Look at the consistency. Oh, so puddingy. Kind of mashing the bananas in a little bit too. Let's chill this real quick. So while our banana pudding chills, let's make some matcha. I'm gonna add some of my favorite matcha into a sieve. That was a hefty scoop. Just press it all the way down, add a little bit of hot water, and then we're gonna whisk it. Look at that foam. It's beautiful. Okay, I got my matcha, I got my banana pudding. Let's build our drink. So hers has oat milk, and I don't like oat milk, so I'm gonna use cashew milk. I'll pour in our matcha. Shoot, I feel like I need a lot more matcha than that. We got more matcha. Oh yeah. I underestimated how much this cup needed. And now we're gonna top it off with our banana pudding. Look at those banana chunks, you guys. That looks insane. But her glass came with a spoon and a straw. One extra scoop for drama. And I present to you Leve's banana pudding matcha. Somebody said, plot twist, Lover Girl is actually about matcha. Da-da, 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 da-da. Okay, let's try this. Oh wait, I forgot. Vanilla wafers. We're just gonna sprinkle a little bit on for the essence. Now that's a banana pudding. Okay, let's try this. She starts by eating the pudding first. I added extra for drama, and drama we got. So cheers. The chunks of banana is so nice. And the cream, the pudding essence just kind of blended with the matcha is probably one of the best matchas I've ever had. 10 out of 10. But keep watching because you guys tagged me in some incredible recipes. This next one, I'm not so sure about. This subscriber said honeysuckle. You need to try this and see if it's good. But by looking at it, I'm scared. This is a 1 ingredient chip that's 100% chicken. And while the crunch that she gives makes it sound pretty convincing, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure about this. But she starts by adding the ground chicken to her bowl, and then she says season it really well with anything that you want. And by the looks of it, she uses onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, chili powder, salt, and black pepper. So not really 1 ingredient because seasonings count too. And it also looks like she adds baking soda, except somebody said, I'm not sure what I did wrong because all I can taste in this is baking soda. And if you've ever tasted baking soda, it just tastes really metallic-y. And now she mixes it up with her hands. It smells like Dorito nacho cheese. Hold the cheese, sub the chicken. And now we transfer the chicken on some parchment paper. Ooh, it's kind of springy from the baking soda, but maybe that's what helps it get all crunchy and turns it into chips. Now we cover it with some plastic wrap and then we roll it. Yes, I said we roll it. Very interesting. Can't say I've ever done this before. Rolling meat is a little bit more challenging than I thought because it doesn't really work the same way that dough does. It kind of just squishes everywhere. I'm trying to shape it well, but we just need it to be flat at this point. It's just squeezing everywhere. And that's as good as it's gonna get. Peel off the plastic wrap, and then I'm gonna transfer it into a baking sheet, and we're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for about 2 hours. Well, I guess since we have to wait a while for that, let's move on to our next one. Now this next recipe has cameraman drooling, but somebody said, All I do on this app is starve, but it looks pretty easy and delicious, so let's make these crispy beef tacos. She starts by sauteing her onions with some oil, and then we're gonna throw in a whole pound of ground beef. Now she seasons it with some taco seasoning. Pretty easy so far, and we have to add some tomato paste. Let me just go ahead and mince this up. And I'll throw in some extra garlic too. Now to assemble our taco, which seems more like a quesadilla, she adds shredded cheese, meat, cheese, fold. We have all our folded tacos ready, and now let's crisp them up. She actually puts a small layer of oil into the pan, and then we crispy pan fry them. Somebody said, "It's raining tacos." I don't think we can add that song to it. Oh, she's gonna be crispy. Halfway through, just flip it over. If anybody here watching grew up in the 90s or 2000s, this reminds me of the chalupa. Let me transfer it to a rack. I'm letting the tacos drain off, but in the meantime, somebody said, drop that cilantro lime sauce. And then I found in the comments, another person posted this recipe. We're gonna blend half a bunch of cilantro, 1 jalapeno de-seeded, I'm just gonna do a little bit, garlic cloves, mayo, sour cream, lime juice, a little bit of cotija or parmesan, and salt and pepper. Let's get it nice and smooth. Okay, and now she opens the taco up. Oh, look at that cheese. Adds the sauce. And this kind of reminds me of something. The first meal cameraman ever made me was hot dog with mac and cheese wrapped in a tortilla. Just like this. It was romantic, horrifying, iconic. I guess this crispy beef taco is the more grown-up version of us, since that was almost 20 years ago. Let me make one for him and call him over. Cameraman. But lately, I've been thinking about longevity differently. It's not about how long we live, it's about how well we live, because the best parts of life are the parts you get to actually share.
Ooh la la.
Like this upgraded taco that does not have mac and cheese or hot dogs. Wait, before we try it though. This is Mito Pure Gummies from Timeline. It's backed by 15 plus years of research and 10 plus clinical studies, and it's designed to support cellular energy, muscle strength, and healthy aging. I've been consistent with taking it daily, and now he's taking it too. For holding the camera, lifting the groceries, carrying everything for me, and still having energy for our family too. Mito Pure helps renew mitochondria, which boosts cellular health and muscle strength. See his muscles? Use my link and code below
for 20% off your order of Timeline's longevity gummies.
And thank you to Timeline for sponsoring this portion of the video. Now you can try the tacos.
Ooh.
Better than mac and cheese and hot dog?
Different.
The 20-year upgraded version.
10 out of 10.
Ah. This next one looks like the definition of we have Cold Stone at home. But actually, it's like a fruit yogurt ice thing, and it looks pretty good, so thanks for tagging me. First, we're gonna line up our strawberries into a little beautiful flower. I happen to have the same exact ice tray. Somebody in the comments asked, where do you get this? Amazon. Just line her up. Whoa, it's so cold that the strawberries are sticking to it. I'm just gonna let it do its thing and freeze up. Then they also have a very red grapefruit, ruby red. Let me just peel this real quick. I didn't realize that this grapefruit is mostly just peel. Ta-da! Let's place it down. Now we're just gonna mash and crush our fruits, starting with the strawberries. There's a little bit of a frost at the bottom of the strawberry. This was so cold that it made it icy. She gets them into some pretty small chunks, and this process just feels very satisfying. Okay, I think that looks good. Now, I'm gonna do our grapefruit. Oh, mine is a lot more watery than hers. Please don't melt the ice tray. But now we have grapefruit slushy already. Something tells me we did not use the same type of grapefruit. Ah! Got it in my eye. I don't know, I think that's as fine as I can get it because the juice is not even freezing up. Oh, Nikes. But now it looks like she adds some yogurt right on top. 2 scoops coming up. Now using the spatulas, we're gonna spread it out and mix it really well. The strawberry side is still nice and frozen, but the grapefruit side is not doing so well. Are you gonna be able to freeze the yogurt? So the bottom right here is starting to freeze up on its own, which is what it's supposed to do, but this side right here is not freezing up, and I do think that it lost its juice a little bit. So I'm gonna pop it back in the freezer for maybe 5 minutes, and hopefully everything will firm up. Our yogurt ice is nice and frozen now. Maybe a little too too frozen. But now I'm gonna try to cut it into blocks. Oh, there you go. Oh, it kind of just cracks itself. Okay, we got our squares. So now let's serve. So somebody asked, is this kind of like those frozen ice cream rolls? I would say they're more like yogurt bark than rolls. And here it is. I've never had anything frozen with strawberries and grapefruit before, so this should be interesting. I got a whole chunk of grapefruit in there and it was sour. It was kind of bitter. I think this needs a little something. My sensitive teeth. But the flavor is much better now. I'm gonna give this fruit yogurt ice a 7 out of 10. This next one that you guys tagged me in might be entering rage bait territory because I have cooked flaming hot Cheetos and spaghetti before and it didn't end well. But they're calling this spaghetti a la assassin, and by the looks of it, it kind of takes a more culinary approach, so I'm willing to give it a try. But first, we gotta turn our Cheetos into crumbs. We're gonna use the whole bag here. That might be more than I can handle. Whoa. Cheeto crumbs. I got my pasta station. First, we're gonna warm up the pan, add a little bit of olive oil, and then throw in our crushed garlic. So far, so good. It's smelling very aglio e olio, which is just a garlic pasta. But now I season it with some salt. And now, this is where things get a little interesting. We're gonna add our tomato sauce, a splash of water, a little bit more salt, and then throw in our uncooked pasta and let it cook for 10 minutes until it's nice and al dente. I'm just gonna use the spaghetti to mix it, and then we plop the whole thing in. The sauce to water ratio looks a little off, but I'm gonna trust the process. Or not, maybe I'm just gonna add a little more water just in case. Our spaghetti is super thick, and it has sucked all the liquid out from our sauce, the water, and you're left with a very, very congealed, hopefully al dente spaghetti. But now to finish off our sauce, I get to sprinkle in our Cheeto crumbs. Maybe this acts more as like pepper. Mix it all in. Okay, let's serve. And then to garnish, they added more of the Cheeto crumbs for some extra drama and hit it with some parsley. To be fair, it actually looks pretty good. It's not too crazy, but just the thought of having flaming hot Cheetos in my pasta just, I don't know, but let's try it. It also turned into like an atomic red color too. Naya Q, this is for you. I'll start off by saying that the spaghetti is not terrible. It's almost like a spicy marinara sauce, but the texture is what I do not like. Because adding the first crumble into the sauce made it congeal a little bit, and it was clumpy, a little bit slimy. Not my favorite, but it's good to try new things, I guess. 5 out of 10. So I've been seeing this recipe everywhere on TikTok, and one of you guys finally pushed me to try it. It's the dumpling lasagna. Somebody said I was unaware we could lasagnify anything, but it looks pretty good, so let's find out. She starts with some meat. I'm gonna use some ground chicken. Then she adds 2 types of soy sauces, light and dark. Adds in her aromatics. There's green onions, ginger, garlic. Ooh, I forgot the salt and the white pepper. And now this is the part that's a little bit more interesting. I've never seen this before over meat, but she pours hot oil right on top of the aromatics to open it up. Is this gonna cook the meat? That was just a really quick sizzle. Can't say I've ever done that before, but it was fun. Now let's just mix it up. Ooh, definitely get more of the aroma of the ginger and the garlic after I fried them. And I guess adding a little bit of extra fat into the chicken keeps it juicy. Somebody said, thank you for not adding gelatin. All right, now let's assemble our lasagna. She starts off with the dumpling wrapper at the bottom, and it looks like it's been moistened. So I'm just gonna wet it with some water and lay it down. Ooh, it's like a perfect fit. Now I'm gonna spread some of our chicken mixture right on top. I'm just gonna be doing a single size serving, all for me. Okay, second layer, same thing. Except this time, I can fit a few more wrappers. Another layer of meat. I have to say, if this works, it's so much easier than manually making these little dumplings. See the struggle? But somebody asked, I wonder if elder Asians would be down with this version. And somebody else said, Definitely not. So I want to hear from my elder Asian viewers. What do you think? But now it's time to cook our dumpling lasagna. Instead of baking it like a traditional lasagna, we're gonna steam it like traditional dumplings. But right before she adds it to her steamer pot, she pours a little bit of water right on top of the dumpling wrappers, probably to keep it moist. We'll place it into our steamer basket and we'll let it cook for about 15 minutes. How am I gonna get that out later? Just to make sure it was fully cooked, I let it go for 20 minutes. But I think it's done. Now the question is, how am I gonna get you out? Oh, it's juicy. So that comment earlier about the gelatin, that's what usually gives you the soup dumpling, but we didn't have to add any and it's sufficiently soupy at the bottom from the chicken juices steaming out. But we're not done yet because now she garnishes and adds soy sauce, chili oil, fresh spring onion to give it some color. And that looks so incredible. I'm so excited to eat this. So thank you for tagging me. Let's see if it's worth the hype. So the top layer of the dumplings are kind of sticking together, which makes it a little bit harder to cut through. We have our meat patty that just fell out. Oh, but look at those layers. Dumpling lasagna indeed. Somebody asked, I wonder how cheese would taste with this. To that I say, ew, no. It wouldn't be a soup dumpling if you didn't burn your mouth. But the flavor is on point. It's juicy. You get so much meat in one little bite. I should have tried this sooner. 10 out of 10. Whoa. Somehow it kind of blew up in the oven. Instead of a fruit leather, we have a chicken leather. Somebody said, I'll just bake a leather boot. Thanks. I'm gonna let this cool down real quick and then we're gonna break it into chips. We've got fried baked chicken. Gnarly. It's still crazy to me how it puffed up like this in the oven. But let me go ahead and remove it from the paper. It does stick a little bit to the paper, but I think I can just peel that off once we crack it. Ah! Whoa. It shatters like glass. But you know what this reminds me of? We have chicharrones, which are pork rinds. These are chicharrones. Get it? They have fish and chips, but this is chicken chips. So when she cracks her chips, she serves it with some guac, chips and dips. It honestly doesn't look or smell that bad, so I think this might be legit. That was actually so good. That's crazy. Number one, I don't taste the baking soda at all, so I think you just have to mix it up really well. But number two, my questions are, how do people come up with this? But also, how do you store this? Because it's really good. 9 out of 10. I'm not super surprised that I got tagged into this, but it's not something that I've ever made before with my famous chocolate chip cookies, because this takes it to a whole new level. It's a stuffed chocolate chip pie cake, but it looks incredible, so let's try it. So because I've actually never made my chocolate chip cookies in this way before, I'm gonna follow her exact recipe and see how it turns out. But first, she starts off with some softened butter. I'm gonna add it to our bowl, give it a good smush. Oh, I love how soft this is. I usually brown mine, but this could work too. And then she adds in her brown sugar. Mix it again. And she forgot her egg and didn't add it to the end, but this is where I'm gonna add it. Using the softened butter this way, you have to put in a lot more elbow grease to make it mix thoroughly. But this looks good. Now she sifts in her dry ingredients. So you have flour, baking soda, and salt. I feel like for cookies, you don't really need to go through the process of sifting flour. That's usually more for cake, but it is a stuffed chocolate chip cookie pie cake. So maybe you just need a finer crumb, because I definitely don't do this in my world's famous chocolate chip cookie recipe. Now she mixes it a little bit and then she adds in chopped chocolate chunks. I feel like chopped chocolate chunks like this always make the cookies so much more fancy. And then in the direction, she says to add in chocolate chips too, either on top or in the batter, but I'm gonna go in the batter. Give it a final mix. I think for a recipe like this, I should have used a mixer. So quick tip, if it's softened butter, use a mixer. If it's melted butter, you can use your hands. All right, now she layers it into her cheesecake pan. I couldn't find mine, so I'm gonna make a makeshift one. We're gonna use parchment papers to make a sling so that later I can just lift it off. And now the fun part, she scoops in half of the cookie dough, spreads it out at the bottom. It's like Play-Doh, I'm just smushing it in. Remember how I said it's stuffed? We're gonna spread in some Nutella in the center. Does that look like enough? I used the rest of my Nutella jar, so it's gonna have to be. Okay, let's spread it out. And now she scoops on the rest of the batter and just places it on top, but I think I'm gonna flatten the rest of mine and gently place it because I don't want it to mix. I'm gonna try to cover the entire top without having any Nutella leakage. And yay, we did it! It was a little bit of a puzzle piece, a little bit of a Play-Doh, sensory bin all in one. And now she says all we have to do is bake it until the edges are lightly set and the center is still soft. I pulled it out and let it cool almost completely, and now it's time to cut. Hopefully my sling worked. Ta-da! It works! And now let's get our slice. Ooh, there's a slight crunch from the crust. Oh my goodness. Do you see the stuffing? Oh my goodness. It looks insane. You guys have really good taste. Now the question is, do I eat this like a cake or do I eat this like a cookie? Oh my gosh. To me, there's only one way to do this. Someone said 2 calories per sniff. Somebody else said, first bite, oh my God. Second bite, oh hi God. This was so amazing, but definitely really decadent, and I only recommend 1 slice. Stuffed chocolate chip cookie pie cake gets 9 out of 10. But if you like this video, go watch me make my subscribers' dream lunches.